Okay, hello everyone. Back for another shoulder day. Kind of a weird angle. I know I'm blocked by this this plate here, but I don't care that much. All you need to do is be able to hear my voice and kind of see what the workout is. So, doing shoulders. Gonna do start off with some reverse flies, and then do some lateral raises, and then overhead press. Yeah, we got a big snowstorm here over the weekend, so that was fun. But we'll start out with one, doing 15 pounds, reverse flies. Just do it for 15. Yes.
Can you hand me the fives?
What's up?
Can you hand me the fives?
Yeah, sure. Recording.
Huh?
Got video going.
Sorry, vlog.
Okay, here.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, that's right. Listen to what she says. Just kidding. I don't care if you do or don't. So that's set number one. Fiance just came by. She is clearly working out now too, and inside our house because it's pretty cold in the garage. If this is your first video, take a look at some other videos, but I figure I should probably start doing this more at the beginning of videos, explaining kind of who I am, why I'm doing this. Just kind of a short excerpt. I'm Nate. Obviously, I am a father of one right now, and my initial goal was to get to like over 200. I think 205 was my goal by the time I get married, which is in a few months here. So I'm not sure that I'm gonna be able to get there. At least not a good-looking 205. I mean, I'm sure I could get to 205, but it wouldn't look good. But I wanted to do this because I found, starting out, I wanted to just kind of track my journey and see it, kind of show other people could do it. Well, I hate the word journey, but just kind of show people that they could do it. But especially dads and parents, especially, show them that they could do it. Obviously, I have the benefit of having a home gym, so that kind of, I'm not on as hard of a mode. That really, if I can just walk out to my garage, I don't have to drive 15 minutes to go to the gym, or however long to go to the gym. But that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing this. I think now it has kind of evolved into more, because I'm not just going to stop making videos after I get married, and I'm just not going to stop because I've enjoyed this so far. Maybe selfishly, maybe it's just for a selfish reason, and me being able to talk to the world, or talk to whatever's out there listening. But that's kind of why I'm doing it. Again, not very clear, but I enjoy it. I found I enjoy it, and I want to keep doing it. So I'll try to keep more on topic. I know last video I talked a bit about more about role models, or I kind of ad-libbed about role models in between sets. But I'll probably touch base on that a bit more, because I had some further thoughts about that, and I kind of wanted to put a disclaimer out there, because, well, I'll get to it after I'm done with this workout. Let's worry about the workout first. So this is step number 2. Rear up flies, doing 15. 15 pounds for 15 reps. Set number 2. So with rear delt flies, again, I'll probably go between my thoughts and what I'm actually doing. With rear delt flies, I've been told or read that the goal is to kind of do a more of a Y shape instead of doing like just like a lateral raise, but you know, you're trying to flex your rear delts. It's a hard muscle to hit because it's very localized and small. It's almost like you have to get a feel for it before you actually feel it and you do the movement. Like, it's like almost lats. Like starting out, doing like lat pull downs is like the weirdest move because you don't know what you're hitting, you don't know what it feels like. Are you sore the next day? Maybe, maybe not. But as you get more experience and you can actually kind of like build the muscle a little bit and you get the feel for it a lot more, you can really like actually then, you know, do other stuff and feel like, oh, that's my lats. Same thing with rear delt flies. So, set number 3. And I like to turn my thumbs kind of almost like I'm making like a thumbs down, but like I'm halfway there. It's like if my thumbs were like, if you were holding the dumbbell straight, doing it at like a 45 angle down, and then making like a Y, and your body. Your body is like the stem of the Y. I've also found that kind of like arching your back, like a C almost, like flexing your abs to get your back arched a bit more. So you take your back out of the workout or your upper straps out of the movement. That makes it a lot easier to like localize it or to target the muscle would be the best term. It's been a while since I've hit shoulders. I did get sick last week, and like it was like a stomach flu sick, so of course I was putting it, try to keep it, not so I'm describing what was happening in my body, but you know I was yarfing to put it a little more clean, but it wasn't fun, and I didn't like feel good. Today and a little bit of yesterday are like the first days where I've felt like I've had an appetite. Whereas like I swear from like Wednesday to Saturday, I just like didn't have an appetite. Nothing sounded good to me. No food sounded good to me. Like you could say anything to me, nothing sounded delicious. It was rough. And today's like the first day where like oh man. Or like yesterday, but I was like, oh man, this actually sounds good, you know? So, all right, set number 4. Yeah, and weather-wise, we just got a big winter storm, and it's like we've been going into this. We've been like boomeranging back and forth between like, oh, okay, is it spring? Nope, just kidding, it's gonna snow, and then it melts again, and then oh, is it spring? And you know now it's, and of course we have a blizzard warning or something like that. It's really windy out. I think they even canceled schools today, which that surprises me. I feel like if it was when I was a kid, they wouldn't have canceled school for this. Okay, set number 5. Last set. actually feeling the soreness is kind of the hardest part. But once you really start building the muscle, you'll feel it. Okay, I'm gonna do some lateral raises. I'm just gonna move the camera. Probably cut here. All right, so we're just gonna do some lateral raises. I'm just gonna do like 20 pounds. Again, nothing crazy. I think last week I kind of elaborated that I wasn't gonna do like crazy weights. Well, actually, 20 pounds isn't really necessarily with crazy weights, or getting close to crazy weights. Crazy weights for like lat raises, I feel like, would be like, I don't know, 40 pounds. But we'll just start with this. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how many I'm gonna do for my first set, but we'll start with this and we'll see how it feels. 12 feels good. 12 feels like a good start. So what I was going to say about role models. Last week I spoke about role models and how I think that, like, you know, and again, people could probably watch that video and they'd have a bunch of arguments. I should say it's more, how do I want to put this? I don't have like whatever expertise talking about that would be. I don't have it. I'm the last person that, like, you should take serious, you know, advice from. And I think I said it last video, I don't view myself as a good role model. I'm sure that everybody probably doesn't view themselves as a good role model. And I think, you know, I think probably only narcissists would say that they are a good role model. Like, seriously, a good role model. You know, because everybody has their things that they're not good at, or they don't work on, or, you know, or they need to work on, or whatever, you know. I fall in that category. There are things that I need to work on all the time. That's just being human, I think. But again, I'm not the person that you should listen to about a serious opinion about, because I don't have kind of that expertise. I'm not like, it's not like I have some, you know, philosophical degree or a PhD or just a degree in philosophy to be able to, like, seriously, genuinely take some of these ideas, bounce them around in my head and apply them to role models and how they should fit into our society, and how our society should, you know, present role models to kids and younger people, or just people in general, you know. But those are just my thoughts on it. I think that, you know, there's a lot more to be desired when it comes to, like, role models in general in today's day and age. But that kind of that type of idea has come from, or stemmed from, my beginning of reading of philosophy books. And I think that's kind of a natural pivot from reading any type of philosophy or philosophy books in general. I think that's like a natural pivot in taking things and looking at society in different ways. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but, like, that just felt like, to me, like a natural thing. Yeah, I had more thoughts on role models, but let's actually do the workout. This isn't a lecture on what Nate's personal opinions are and stuff like that. Okay, set number 2. Again, we're just gonna do 12. Talking about, like, what were my, I should honestly write my thoughts down as the week progresses for, like, what I'm going to talk about next video. Maybe that's, like, something that I need to start doing. But I had a really good thought on role models, and, like, that kind of built off of what I was talking about last week. I mean, touching on last week, in a gist, you know, I thought that, like I said, what is presented to us leaves much to be desired. I think that's just the best way to put it, at least me personally. Obviously, I'm sure there are people out there in entertainment spaces, or entertainment focused spaces like YouTube, who are good role models. This was my thought. I think that way because desiring someone who is a genuinely good role model is just so rare, and that type of person doesn't want to make videos and put themselves out there as, it's like one of those things where the person who's good at it isn't going to say they're good at it and doesn't want to be recognized. They're probably such a humble person that they don't want to be idealized as a role model, because we as humans are imperfect. I think that's the gist of it. And maybe that's why having a fictional character as your role model is best, because they typically they won't get, well, they could depending on what it is, but they won't get tainted. They'll be in that form forever, and it's a cop out maybe of oh, this is my role model, because they're not given the opportunity to be, they're in a story, it's a fictional, it's not real, it's not reality. But I don't know, that was essentially my thought. I'll continue that for this set number 3. And then side note, as far as this workout goes, I'm kind of holding these less at my hips on the side and more kind of right here. And then I'm kind of bringing out, keeping my elbows bent, so I'm not working my biceps nearly as much. And sometimes I'll go back and forth with my head. I kind of lean my head back, because if I do this, I find my traps get a little too involved. So doing that that's just my feel, that's what I do. So you don't have to do the same thing, do what works for you. So, but yeah, as far as role models go and what my thoughts are on that, idolizing a fictional character and trying to be like them, it kind of eliminates the whole humanity part of it, because if you keep failing and you keep wondering, gosh, why can't I be like this fictional character? Maybe that sets unreal standards. But as far as setting good standards, that's kind of what you want, but with the awareness that it maybe isn't, not necessarily that it isn't attainable, because I think being that good of a person is totally attainable. Is it hard for different types of people? Yes. Is it hard for me? Yes. But putting that at the forefront of your mind when you're saying, if you're talking to a kid or something like that, or that maybe they wouldn't understand that, but putting that at the forefront of their mind when they're okay, I'm going to idealize this, or they're going to be my role model. That's who I want to be like. Saying, yes, well, what are you going to say to some 6-year-old? You're going to say, oh yeah, no, they're not real, so you can't do that. Or oh, they're not real, so, just, withhold your circumstances, or not circumstances, withhold your expectations, that type of thing. You can't, I'm not sure you're going to be able to make that conversation make sense. But, that is something, that I think about. But making a fictional character your role model, again, may set a weird standard, because you're not going to be able to really achieve those, because the fact of the matter is that humans are imperfect, and you're never going to really escape that. So driving for perfection in that sense is unattainable. But again, don't we want, that's one of those situations where you don't. It's not pass fail. You know, you don't. Just because you don't get 100% there, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You know. So, anyway, set number 4. I should probably get a chug on here too. But, you know, it's just, these are the thoughts that come to my mind when I think about role models and stuff like that. Well, and, you know, as a parent, you think, okay, well, who is my child gonna watch, or who is my child? Maybe I said this last week, but, you know, who are they gonna take after? Who are they gonna, of course, you want them to look up to you, but after a certain point, I mean, like, what teenager is, you know, gonna surprise everyone and not be a teenager and, you know, like, not look up to their parents or something like that, or, you know, think a certain way towards their parents? I don't know. I'm certainly not there yet, and that's a long way away from me, so I'm not even gonna bother about that, but it's good, it's food for thought. Set number 5. I kind of lost count. I think these 20s are getting a little light. Let's do 25. Whoops, that one's fell. And I'm not sure what the temperature is. I want to put some temperature gauges out here. I think I've mentioned that in a video before, but I've got a list a mile long of just so much different things to do and to buy and to, you know, get for the house and all this other stuff. I'll just be a homeowner. So after this, I'm gonna do seated shoulder press dumbbell. So my dumbbells only go up to 50, unfortunately. I want to get them up to 80, but when that happens, I don't know, but 50s work for now. So that's what I'll be doing after this set. But as far as, again, touching base on that role models thing, you know, and I imagine it, again, you know, this is just me spitballing. This isn't really me, like, I haven't, you know, thought about this and turned this into a video form. This is essentially me ad-libbing in real time as I think about this. I'm sure there's 100 different arguments that go against that idea and saying, hey, that's not a good idea to put that in somebody's mind because, or especially at a young age, because then it, you know, fixing in their mind that, like, oh, but here's the thing is, maybe we look at it and say, oh, that's totally unattainable. Or I look at that because my mind is formed. I have an opinion that's formed, and I maybe know a reality, but, you know, maybe for me, that's something that would be hard and unattainable. But if we put that in all these kids, you know, at a young age, we put that in their mind, and we say, hey, you know, you can chase after this and try to be this type of person. Of course, what's the reason for it? What drive do they have? But putting like that idea of a role model in their head and saying, yes, you can be like that. It is not unattainable, you know? I mean, it's just like telling a kid that they're stupid, so they're never gonna be something. But it's like the opposite of that. Like, hey, you're a kid, you're young, you look at this role model, you could be like this role model. It is attainable, you know? So, all right, last set. That felt pretty good. Felt pretty dang good. So again, gonna move the camera here. Just going to do some overhead press. Oh, watch. This gym needs to take people, make people hold accountability and clean up after themselves. Oh well. All right. So last workout, overhead press. Going to do 50 pounds for just like, again, 10 to 12. Not going to, well, I mean, I really can't go crazy with dumbbells because I don't have the weight. I don't have the weight for it. But let me grab those. And yeah, it's, again, I'm wearing gloves because these are obviously metal dumbbells. And they are cold. So wearing gloves, I don't want to freeze my hands picking these up. All right, here we go. Kind of lean back a little bit, just give myself some, maybe I should sit up more straight. You'll see how I do them and I'll explain it after this set. Set number 1. So, don't lean too far back with them. Keep them kind of in front of me. Easy up, and then on the way down, keeping them fixed. It's pretty. I want to say it's simple, but just because I've been doing it for so long, maybe I don't remember if it's like a hard movement. Your shoulders, doing like an individual workout for your shoulders, you'll be surprised by how, like if you're just starting out, by how weak your shoulders are compared to, other things. Or like if you've been doing, like a PPL, push-pull legs split, which is pretty common, and then you add in like a dedicated shoulder day, you'll be like, whoa, it's a game changer. It's if you are plateauing with your chest, that's like the perfect time to like add in a shoulder day. Because when you work your shoulders, when you add in that shoulder day and then you come back to benching, it strengthens just the whole framework. Oh, it's so good. My upper body workouts added weight to everything because of doing dedicated shoulder day. So that number 2. And I'm just doing 8. Okay. Going back to sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. Topics wise, this is just me. I decided I'm not going to put on a character as well. I'm just going to be genuinely me in these videos because I don't want to fake myself. I can't, it doesn't seem right to me. But anyway, again, because I'm jumping around here, going back to the role models thing, maybe it's just like a weird conversation, I don't know, but I found that, when I was a kid, I love Lord of the Rings. I idolized, I think I've been saying idealized. I idolized Aragorn. And that's not a bad idol to have. I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's a good dude in all the books. And in the movies. I think Viggo Mortensen plays him pretty well. If we want to talk about specifics of Lord of the Rings, that's a whole different video of me sitting down and not working on focusing on talking about it. Love Lord of the Rings. But and that's where it stems from for me, because that's just what kind of happened. And again, that's from a book, and that's a character from a book, and especially from a book that's you know, things aren't getting added to that. It's not like there's, it's just, I mean, it's obviously fiction, you know, it's not real, you know, so I understand that part of it. But set number 3. You'll notice I'm not really like going all the way down. I'm kind of just going to 90. And you'll say, Nate, why aren't you going full range of motion? Why aren't you going all the way down? I always found that it was sketch for me to go all the way down. And it seemed like it kind of risked injury when I don't really need to. So that's why I don't do it. Going to 90 degrees feels fine for me. I'm probably not going to change that. I mean, barring reasonable evidence, I don't know. That's just how I've always done it, and it feels good. It works for me. So yeah. But yeah, again, where this had stemmed from was because I was starting to read philosophy books, and this has been a thought that's in my mind for like years. I haven't really like hooked onto it and again really like fleshed it out and really just put like a thought like, okay, well, why do I think this way? What's the reason? I'm like argued against myself, like, okay, well, what's the argument against it? Okay, it's not like it's just, it kind of comes up and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, and whenever I see people, I'm like kind of evaluating, like, you know, this is popular. I wonder if they're a good role model, you know, just stuff like that. I think I'll set number 3, set number 4. And that's the thing I'm really bad at, is losing count. It's because I'm scatterbrained. But yeah, you know, this has just kind of come up with reading philosophy and stuff like that. And I think what it stemmed from, especially like this philosophy, and when I read, like, I didn't make this connection until recently when it comes to philosophy books. When you read it the first time and you don't understand it at all, that's normal. Like, I didn't think that, like, I read them and I was like, oh, I need to get this for the first time. Otherwise, I'm like, you know, I'm dumb or something like that. But like, I kind of have watched some YouTubers who talk about it, and they're like, oh yeah, I read this one book for the first time and I had no idea. And then I went to like listen, and then they were like, oh, and then I went and listened to lectures, and then it kind of clicked. So I kind of started implementing that. Right now I'm kind of resetting. I'm reading, like it's apparently a quote unquote beginner book, but Bertrand Russell, Problems of Philosophy. And it's good. This time I've like reread a chapter like 3 times, and then I've watched like a couple videos on it, and then I'm finally like, oh, I get it. So it's like, it takes work to like understand, but at least for me. Maybe I should cut out the maybe, but like, I consider myself stupid, so I'm like, it's not all surprising to me that it takes that much work to get something through my head, but, you know, that's my ad lib on it. So 2 more sets. So 1 more set. This is just my shoulder day, and if you've gotten this far, you know, I'm surprised you got this far, but I try to just post. I'm posting once a week right now. That's just what works for me. If I need to post more, or if I want to start posting more, I will. But I just post once a week. That's my goal for now. And this is kind of just the vibe of the videos that I personally like. Well, that I don't personally like, but I like doing. This feels natural to me. Will I have to do things, like, I understand that I'll have to do things to get out of my comfort zone if I want it to be successful. What does successful look like? I don't know. Do I want it to be successful? I don't know. But to me, this right now just feels, I like it. I like it. That's all that really kind of matters to me now, you know. So last set, and then I'll say goodbye to you folks. Let's get that last set done. Let's make it a good one. Boom. That is the last set. That's my shoulder day, or one of my shoulder days. Again, I'll be back next week. It was a good workout. Again, not super long, you know, so you don't need to necessarily, I've learned I don't need to do too much in order to get a good workout in. Sometimes I think everybody has the story where they, you know, used to spend an hour and a half to 2 hours in the gym doing so many things. But, you know, that workout feels good to me. And these workouts have felt good to me. So thank you for watching if you've gotten this far. Obviously, with YouTube, you do the whole like and subscribe spiel. If you would so like to, I would appreciate that. If you'd like to leave a comment, go ahead. Not sure that I'll read them or read any of them or read all of them. I can't promise that to you. I am somewhat busy, but you know, feel free, and thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good rest of your week, guys.